Hey everyone. So, today we're finally starting a new chapter of Higurashi. This is Higurashi Tsumihoroboshi. 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 It's gonna be one of those. I will remember it off the top of my head with time. I remember I struggled a little bit with like Meakashi and the like as well. Like remembering Tatari Goroshi. I think at some point they called it Watanagashi by accident. I can't even remember the name of chapter 4 off the top of my head right now. Because I hardly reference it in general. So I usually just call it chapter 4. Um, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, today we're starting a new Higurashi chapter. One quick thing to note, at least over on the kick side, I did finally add the channel points or whatever. You basically get the same type of channel points that I get, or that you would get on Twitch, except any of the what are these fucking called? Like all the highlight my message or like unlock a random sub, any of that shit. Went ahead and like those I can't implement on Kick, so not much we could do there. The rest should still be just whatever I have, which is like 5 of them. Anyway. Man, I have no idea what to expect with Chapter 6. We've done Chapter 5. I have no idea what to fucking expect for Chapter 6. I just know it's going to be crazy. And then Chapter 7 is going to get even more insane before we get to the, Chapter 8. Oh boy. Alright. Let me just get the game up and running. We'll swap on over to it. And we'll go from there. Give me 1 second. Oh boy. A little nervous, but should be fine. But here we go. Higurashi when they cry, Kai. Tsumihoroboshi. Okay. So as you can see, it's been modded. So we've got the good backgrounds and the classic art, as all of the past episodes have. Here it is. Tsumihoroboshi. The First Fall. Atonement Chapter. How is your reasoning towards the truth coming along? The next tragedy is ready for you. Enjoy. This is a humorous story with a tragic struggle at the end. The difficulty is 0. You can just enjoy the clowns milling about. I don't know about that. I don't believe you, Ryukishi. I don't believe this is a 0 difficulty chapter. You are a lying son of a bitch. You're gonna throw random shit at me. I just know it. Anyway, let's get started. This arc includes choices added in the console version. We will skip those. We'll only show the PC content. The first time, I would try harder to avoid the inevitable tragedy. The second time, I would be disgusted with the inevitable tragedy. The third time, my disgust would turn to anguish. The 7th time, I'd be laughing at them. Or I'd be laughing by then. So I assume that's probably Rika speaking, if I'm honest. It might be. Who knows? The chorus of the Higurashi had replaced that of the cicadas. Their cries came from a distance, echoed loudly, and then faded away. They sounded so weak and fragile. Rena's voice was just like the cries of the Higurashi. She'd say something, but the words would quickly fade away. She sounded so fragile that it made me worry that she might vanish into thin air along with their words. But nobody is pressuring her to continue. Mion dusted off the hood of an abandoned car and sat down on it as if to show how relaxed she was. She actually did look very relaxed, as if she came here to enjoy the cool breeze of the evening or something. Satoko followed Mion's example and sat down as well. She didn't look nearly as relaxed, however. I thought about following suit, but it felt rude to look away from Rena, even for a short time, or even for the short time it would take to look for a place to sit down, so I decided to remain standing. So we're playing as Keiichi, because we've got Rika, Satoko, Mion, and Rena. Rika didn't sit down either, but she wasn't looking at Rena. Everybody else was looking at Rena, but Rika was looking at the red sky. Rika's expression was hard to describe. She looked pale and blank at the same time, as if all of her emotions were gone. Rena wore the same kind of expression. She kept trying to say something, but it seemed like the words were stuck in her throat. She noticed that Rika was looking at the sky, so she decided to look that way as well. Mion did the same. So did I. Satoko looked that way too. And with that, there was silence. It was like we were in a concert hall, filled with the chorus of the Higurashi, a concert hall with the highest roof in the world. A refreshingly cool breeze tickled our sweaty bodies. I could almost make myself believe we came here to enjoy the breeze and the sunset. I could only wish that was what we came here for. The shadows of the birds flying across the sky soured the feeling of our quiet concert. They reminded us that time hadn't stopped. Nobody wanted to pressure Rena. We didn't want time to pressure her either. We wanted to keep the cool red sky as long as we could, so Rena could calm down and talk. Right then, I heard a sound, and it brought us all back to reality. The hood Mion was sitting on had made a noise when she moved to cross her legs. I don't know whether Mion made the noise on purpose or not, but it reminded us that time had been passing by. The noise took her attention away from the sky and back to the ground. Such a tasteless noise seemed to have urged Rena to speak. Rena heaved a small sigh, nodded as if she understood something, and looked at us the way she always did.
話す前に、一個だけ言いたいことがあるの。
She was probably saying it to everybody, but since I'm standing in the middle, with her looking at me, I nodded to her to represent her agreement.
レナは、正しい努力をしたと思ってる。
Her voice wasn't hoarse anymore. She sounded just like she always did.
人って、幸せになるために、どれだけの努力が許されるのかな。
Just gonna quickly check if she's zoomed in. She's not. It sounded like a question, but nobody answered.
だからね、私、みーちゃんの部活って好きなの。ほら、優勝のためには何でもしようって考え方。そういうのだって、世の中が綺麗事で縛られてて、やっていい努力がわずかだけに決められていたら、幸せじゃない人たちは、ますます幸せを勝ち取れなくなっちゃうじゃない？不幸ってね、連鎖するものだと思うの。一度続き始めると、なかなか抜け出せない。そこから抜け出すには、運とか人の助けとか、そういう他力本願なものだけじゃ到底足りない。自分でももっともっと努力しないといけないと思うの。それも本当の本当に精一杯。そこまでしてやっとつかめるのが幸せってものじゃないかなって。
Rena stopped talking, looked up, heaved a sigh, and opened her mouth again.
でも、だからってみんなにもそれを受け入れてもらおうなんて甘えるつもりもないかな。だって本当に汚らしいもの。みんなだってついさっき呆然としたでしょ？それはつまりそういうことだよね。
I've never seen her smile so self-derisively like this. That smile looked unbelievably painful. I could really feel how huge the distance between us was. There's nothing physically there, but I felt as if she's talking to us through iron bars or a chain link fence. That's how great the distance between us was.
でも、 それでもいいよ。仕方ないもんね。そういう風にできてる世の中だもん。多分、私が逆の立場でいられたなら、同じように唖然として、無責任で無慈悲な同情を浮かべていたに違いないもの。
She probably said that to hit back at us. We were just putting on a mask of sympathy, enjoying the spectacle of a clown on a stage. That's why she said that. She probably expected us to say something in return, but none of us knew what to say. Rena looked disappointed for a moment, then turned and clambered on top of an abandoned car. Then she spread her arms out and gave a little twirl, letting her skirt billow up before she grabbed both hands and gave us a graceful curtsy.
Ja, 始めるよ。竜宮レナの一世一代の頑張り物語を。
There was no curtain or spotlight. She was atop an abandoned car amidst the trash piles, a stage specially made for her. We tried not to miss a word of what she was about to say. We believed that was the least we could do to not hurt her feelings. Chapter 6 Tsumihoroboshi. Now, do note, there is going to be some intro movie playing at some point. Now, so look away if you don't want spoilers. I have to look away. Okay, I think it's over. Yeah, it is. Okay. This happens every time we do a new chapter. I'm like, be careful, there's gonna be a spoiler, like, intro, and then, like, the intro starts. Immediately. Holy fuck. Let's say it's a winter month, like December right now. What would you do if all of a sudden you had a week of hot and humid days with crying cicadas? Would you still wear your coat and scarf? Absolutely not, right? Even though it's still June, it's already summer to us, since we've been having hot days for so long. So it's totally okay to do this kind of club activity in June. The beach episode? Actually, let me turn up the game again. I turned it down because that intro cutscene was so fucking loud. Or the intro movie. At my school, everybody usually does what they want in PE class, but today would be an exception. All my classmates were gathering at the schoolyard. Mion looked over, everybody gathered there, then spoke up loudly.
さーてみんな、今日の趣旨はよくわかってるね。
Oh right, I forgot they have like uniform sprites. Well, here's the classic, and then here's the console art. And then, ugh, this looks vile. Anyway. They all raise their water the water guns in their hands. One second. That should be good. It's okay to use water guns in June because it's been so hot and humid. All my classmates were joining in, so it's gonna be a big water gun battle. I'm so excited.
さすがクラス全員で部活だとなんだか盛り上がりますわね。
And then here's Satoko. She looks like a fucking gremlin.
そうだね。
And Rena. And then here's both of them. I wonder why their shirt colors are different. Like why one's blue, the other one's red.
全員で表ではしゃぐのってなんだか楽しそうかな。
And Rika.
みんなは
Yep.
楽しいですが、僕たちは例によって負けられないのです。
So here we go. And then once again.
ま、そういうこったな。およそ勝負と名の付く以上、俺たち部活メンバーは常にリスクを背負ってるからな。
まあそういうこと。部活メンバー諸君は部活に負けたりしちゃうと大変なペナルティが待ってるからね。
I haven't seen this like this sprite in months. Literally. I don't believe we've seen this exact sprite in months of just Mion smiling like that. It's crazy. It's just been her either like neutral or serious or with her eyes glazed over because of all the previous chapters. But this is like the first time we've seen her smile in ages.
せいぜいしっかり戦うこと。
よしよし、盛り上がっ生徒諸君。武器点検は十分か。弾倉は満タンか。
任せてくださいよ、前原さん。
Oh, here we might. Yeah, there we go. Look at him.
銃撃戦は僕たちの最も得意とするところですからね。
富田たちはよく水鉄砲で遊んでますから、かなり強敵かもなのですよ。
今日の僕たちは少し違います。
Tomito-kun and Okamura smiled confidently, holding their guns in a practiced manner. Their skills must give them confidence. They even look different.
ミオンは言うに及ばず、サトコもリカちゃんもかなり強敵になりそうだぜ。レナはどうだ。ちょこまか動いていの一番にやられないように頑張れよ。そういえば最近のレナは罰ゲーム常連だな。
And here she is blushing again.
最近不得意なゲームが多かったから。でもケイチ君も最近私と同じで罰ゲームが多いと思うかな。
罰ゲームの格好のまま帰宅して、さあ脱ごうとしたところでお袋に見つかった俺の哀愁などわかるものか。無が
私だって先週のはひどいよ。普通の女の子ならお嫁に行けなくなっちゃうよ。
What do you mean you're ruined for marriage? Satoko laughed at us loudly while we were shuddering at the memory of the cruel punishment we suffered in the past. Or punishments.
覇気や運気にも偏りというのがございましてよ。その意味から言えば、ここしばらくのレナさんやケイチさんはいわゆる負け組というやつでございますわね。
It's because you both suck.
者に負け癖ってやつはあるね。闘志ってやつは負けが続くとくじけてくる。絶対勝てるという信念が砕けると、全く同じことをやっても裏目裏目に出るもんだからね。
てめえら、たまったま俺とレナがちょいと罰ゲームを哀れに思って引き受けてやってたのを感謝もせずにその言い草か。
Let me crank up the music a tiny bit. Could have sworn I did. Yeah, that should be good.
あら、そうでしたの？それは感謝の気持ちが足りず申し訳ないことでございましたよ。
うわーサトコてめえ、そのセリフは俺の怒りに火をつけたぜ。後悔させてやる。
Oh. The smirking Mion sprite that we haven't seen in a while either. Yeah, look.
その意気だよ、ケイちゃ
Sadako
ん。
really looks like a gremlin in the console art.
まあせいぜいあがいておじさんを楽しませてちょうだいよね。レナも頑張って。あうあう言ってる間にクラスで一番最初に脱落したらさすがに恥ずかしいからね。でもその可能性も高いかな。
一番最初に脱落するのがレナさんだと思いましたよ。どんな目に遭うか今からお覚悟なさいませな。ひどいよ、みーちゃんもさとこちゃんも。レナもケイイチもファイトおーですよ。
Mion and Sadako laughed at us as loud as they could, then moved on to tease their next target. Left alone, all I could do was stomp on the floor in anger.
さあ絶対負けねえ。あそこまで言われたら負けられねえぜ。
そうだね。あそこまで言われると悔しいよね。
っていうか悔しいどころじゃねえぞ。プライドの問題だぞ。さあ
兄ちゃんの言うように負け癖ってやっぱりあるかもしれないよね。だから今日は絶対に勝ってみんなを見返してやろう。
Rena's eyes look different. She's usually a funny and weird person, but I know she has the determination. She has the determination to do what she needs to. What? Hold on. But I know she has the determination to do what she needs to. Okay. Just double check the script is still 0. Good. So yeah, it's gonna be weird. When Rena looks like this, she can be a tough opponent. And there she is when she's angry.
今日は私も部活の規則にのっとり手加減なしでいく。
おい、なんだかかっこいいこと言うじゃねえの。まるで普段の自分はわざと手を抜いているって言わんばかりだぜ。
Rena smiled. Or maybe you could have called it a wicked grin. She was serious. She was serious about what she said. I could tell that from her expression alone. Among all the club members, Rena is easily the most sensible one. The rule of our club is that we can do anything in order to win, but she's the only one who has moral qualms in doing it. That's why we rarely have a hard time against her, except for when she snaps. It's rare to hear her say that she won't go easy.
ちくしょう、そんな笑い方されたら俺も超本気で行くしかねえじゃねえかよ。
Have you seen this one? Yeah, I think we have.
いつも本気で戦うのが部活だけど、それでもやっぱりそれ以上に本気じゃないといけない時ってあるよね。今日は多分それだね。
だな。
We pounded our fists together. Usually, when we really don't want to lose the game, one asks the other to work together. But Rena didn't ask this time, which meant that she was going to try to defeat everybody by herself. No, not try. She was going to do it by herself. Rena looked really cool at that moment, but I wasn't scared. If she was seriously going to do it, then I'd have to be serious and do it too. My fighting spirit had been dented after many losses, but had begun to burn hot once more.
圭一君もなかなかいい顔してるね。怖いな。全員と一人で戦っても勝てるつもりでいる顔だね。
レナだってそのつもりだろ。
じゃあぶつかるのは最後だね。
互いにクラス全員を全滅させたら最後にはそうなるな。
最後の戦いの時、そこにいるのが圭一君なのを期待してるね。
おう。
We pounded our fists together again.
当選規定はちゃんと覚えてるね。被弾時の申請だけは正直にね。被弾した人は撃っちゃダメだよ。仮に当てても無効ね。
ミオン、被弾の定義を再確認したいぜ。
Yeah, let's confirm what you mean by being hit.
水鉄砲で撃たれたら被弾。ひねくれたケイちゃんのためにさらに補足するなら、水鉄砲というこの容器から出た水が最初に触れたものが標的であった時被弾とするわけ。つまり水鉄砲を経由した水をバケツに溜めてぶっかけても無効ってわけ。
直接攻撃以外は有効じゃないってことだね。さとこちゃんの脅威が少し薄らいだかな。トラップにもいろいろございましたよ。レナさんなんか一番最初に餌食にして差し上げましたよ。それは無理。私を仕留めようとしたらさとこちゃんじゃまだまだ役不足だね。なんですって？
ほほほ、レナが売り言葉とはね。こりゃあ面白くなりそうだよ。ねえケイちゃん、
大して面白くねえと思うぞ。俺かレナかどっちにやられたいかを選ばされるだけなんだからな。
圭一もやる気満々なのです。
Mion seemed to sense the fighting spirit in me and Rena. I could tell that she's as serious as we are, just from the way she looks.
よっしゃ、いい面構えだよ。気に入った。じゃあ始めるよ。全員3回。くじで決められた場所に移動してね。
Everybody had to draw lots to pick a place to start the game from. It wouldn't be fun if everybody was close together at the beginning of the game. By the way, my starting position was behind the school building. When I drew the starting position, I thought about hiding until there were only a few people left like it did in our last game of tag. But a defensive tactic like that wasn't interesting to me anymore. Right, so assuming there are quote-unquote timelines, right? In this series, we have the Onikakushi timeline, the Watanagashi timeline, and the was it Himatsuboshi? But no, it's Tatarigoroshi. So Onikakushi, Watanagashi, Himatsu god damn it, Tatarigoroshi. We already saw the Watanagashi timeline in the last chapter. I'm assuming this one is going through the Onikakushi one, because we're playing games, which is something that hasn't happened in fucking 5 chapters for the most part. We haven't had a club activity literally in like 4 chapters, just about. I think chapter 2 was the last one, because chapter 3 had, technically, it had some club activities, but they never went through because Satoko was, not feeling well. Chapter 4 was a flashback, and then chapter 5 was, what was going on during Watanagashi. So my guess is that this is going on, or this chapter takes place, at least so far, in the Onikakushi timeline. And it's at least been the tag episode, or the tag chapter, where they were playing a zombie tag or something. I hadn't been this excited in a long time. My legs were shaking with the excitement. It was my first time experiencing that kind of feeling. I could hear Mion's countdown from some distance away.
3、2、1。
A single shot of a toy pistol echoed. With that sound, I was already running around the building. There had to be some underclassmen nearby. I'd usually assume that somebody else would take care of them, but this time was different. They stood frozen in fear as I ran towards them, screaming at the top of my voice. They took a moment to decide whether to fight or to run away, and in that moment I shot one after another. Just to confirm, because this background is a little bit different now, did they do the same for this? They did. Oh, that's actually really cool. Alright, back to the original background.
悪いな。俺の隣が当たった時点で運がなかったと思ってくれ。
I felt so bad for them because they lost the game so quickly, so I rubbed their heads to cheer them up and took their water guns. Yes, that was the key factor in this game. You can't put very much water in a water gun. With 10 people around you in a gun battle, the water would be gone in a minute. I abandoned the gun I used to shoot them, held one of their guns in each hand, and scoped out the schoolyard. Just like I expected, there was an intense battle happening there. In the short time it took me to take care of the area behind the school building, it seemed like most of my classmates were already shot. I wasn't surprised though. I kind of knew it happened. You need to have a high skill to fight in the open schoolyard, especially when most of the club members were there. It must have been like a battle of elephants and ants.
なんだミオンのあれは。
Also, I think I'm gonna crank up the music a little bit more, because it's still like relatively low for the most part. Mion was holding a different water gun from the one she had when the game started. She was now holding one that looked like a huge machine gun. Does this have any art for it? No. Its range capability, its pump action shooting, and the amount of water it can hold were way beyond comparison. There were no restrictions on what kind of water guns we could use today. As long as it's a water gun, we're allowed to use any kind. Most of us have a normal pistol-style water gun from the local toy store or something similar. But she has connections. I would have bought a bigger one like Mion's if they had one, but they weren't in stock and I'd have to order it in. In other words, Mion ordered hers a long time ago just for today. She's always well prepared when it comes to winning. She must have thought that we wouldn't allow her to use the big water gun if she showed it off before the game started, so she must have hidden it somewhere. It looks like most of our classmates were shot right after the game started. Only a few were still alive, trying to survive as long as they could by using the heavy construction equipment as a shield. Mion mercilessly shot at them from various angles to make them come out from behind the shield.
そらそんなとこに隠れてないで出てきな。
Tomita and Okamura were trying their best to resist her attack from behind their shield. It looked like they had no chance against her, but that actually wasn't true. After all, the two of them were only still alive because of all their experience in water gun battles. They survived the first few minutes of her assault, even though 99% of their classmates didn't, and they were still surviving at that very moment. Mion, however, is also a battle-hardened soldier. She used the advantage of her big water tank and gradually but certainly drove them into a corner. It's only a matter of time until she broke them down.
ダメだ。あのマシンガンは辛いよ。委員長の水が少なくなるまでなんとかしのごう。今は手も足も出ないよ。
She's gonna like hook up a hose or something to the tank in her back. And then just like go nuts afterwards, I bet. They tried to hold out against her, but all they could do for now was to keep running behind cover as Mion strafed closer and closer to them. They wanted to use their 2-against-1 advantage, but it seemed like they wouldn't even get the chance. If they tried attacking recklessly, one of them might get shot, and then the other one would have no chance of winning. So they grew more cautious, placing their bets on their final chance, but that caused their offense to wane. Oh? We get a cutscene? A tiny cutscene? Of course, Mion saw through their plan. She was purposely provoking them so that they'd lose their patience and start attacking her recklessly. Mion circled around the construction equipment and now she was standing with her back towards me. If I went up against her machine gun fair and square, I wouldn't stand a chance. So attacking from behind would be the only way for me to defeat her. Even though she was in a defenseless position, there was some distance between us. I was still too far away, but it would still be better to attack her now than to take her head on. Don't hesitate, Heiichi. You won't have this chance again. I stepped out from my hiding place and ran as fast as I could towards her with 2 water guns in my hands. Instead of approaching slowly and silently, I screamed at the top of my lungs.
こから来たか、ケイちゃん。
Mion seemed a little shocked by my surprise attack, but she immediately pulled herself together. She knew the advantages of her weapon, but she didn't shoot me just yet. She held back, luring me closer. Mion was well aware of how much water she had left. If she had the same kind of water gun as me, we would have been at the same range capability, or we would have had the same range capability, so it would have been down to her technique to decide the winner. If she was fighting against one of her underclassmen, she could have defeated them easily. Mion immediately calculated her chance of winning against me, and figured out that the only chance was to use the advantage of her water gun. She saw the eye of the tiger in me and recalculated her chances of winning in a split second. Really, I can admire how fast she does those things. I ran at top speed to shorten the distance between us. Our strength should have been equal. I had 2 water guns with full tanks, and she had a machine gun with only a half-empty tank. We both waited for the perfect moment.
今日のケイちゃんの気迫には敬意を表するよ。今日のあんたには正面からぶつかり合って互角以上の勝率を弾き出せる自信がない。
残念だぜミオン。勝率の弾き方も鈍ったな。今日の俺に正面からぶつかり合ったら互角てめえの負けだ。
The moment we stepped within range, Mion and I pulled our triggers at the same time. Mion set her sights squarely on me while I was trying to shoot and run at the same time. Her shot would obviously be more accurate than mine. My shot of water flew towards nowhere. Mion didn't even need to duck. But Mion's shot made a beautiful arc straight towards my chest. I could see the line of water coming straight at me, but I was too unstable to dodge. Mion had no doubt that she got me.
気合だけではどうにもならない現実がこれだったね。
The inverted Mion. Normally these are reserved for like, you know, mental breakdown scenes, yet here she is.
やっぱりケイちゃんは最初に脱落だ。
やっぱり残念だぜミオン。今日のミオンのコンピュータは一手読みが足りないぜ。
ほざくな。その体勢からかわす術はない。水の弾丸で撃ち抜かれろ。そしてどうして私の背後を沈黙して奪わず叫びながら襲う具を犯したかを呪うがいいよ。
You're really disappointing me today, Mion. You could have figured it out if you'd spent just one more second to think. You could have figured out the reason why I didn't creep up on you, but screamed as loud as I could instead. Mion noticed my surprise attack and turned around to face me. In other words, she turned her back on the opponents she was fighting earlier. Those opponents heard my scream and saw that she had turned her back on them.
なんだって？
Mion noticed her back was wet and cold. She finally understood that the underclassmen she was attacking just earlier had shown their fangs and attacked her from behind. I blocked her water shot with my arm, right before it hit my chest. The line of water was broken into droplets and splattered away.
そうだったか。被弾者の攻撃は被弾しても無効だ。
そいつに気づくのだいぶ遅かったぜ。伏せろミオン。
Mion squatted down and covered her head. And now it was me versus Tomita and Okamura. Their reflexes weren't so bad. They knew well that I'd be their next target after Mion was gone. They didn't feel sorry at all for attacking me right after I just saved them from their predicament. I can respect the cruelty and how quickly they shifted gears. They may one day be able to join our club if they keep refining their sense and skill.
次は前原さんだ。このまま撃ち殺すんだ。こっちは2人だもんね。
Is Keiji gonna slide and pick up the machine gun?
負けるわけがない。
They were, however, one step behind me. It was already too late. For them, Mion was their first target and I was next. But I was different. My first target was them from the start. I didn't even see Mion as my target to begin with, because I knew they'd take care of her. I was pointing my guns at them long before they moved their sights from Mion to me. It seemed like they noticed at the last moment that both my guns had been pointing at them from the beginning. Which meant it was already too late for them. I jumped over Mion, rolled on the ground, and landed on my feet. I looked as elegant as an athlete who had just finished a perfect performance. I had a gun in each of my hands, and with those guns, I shot them each in the middle of their chests.
早すぎる。僕たちが2 人がかりで負けるなんて。
Tomita and Okamura fell to their knees in disappointment.
ケイちゃんがこれだけのことをやってのけるなんて私も鈍ったってことかな。
Mion wiped the dirt off her knees, looking frustrated.
別にミオンは鈍っちゃいなかったろ。
じゃあなんでおじさんが負けたわけよ。
She didn't necessarily say, why did I lose? She said, then why did this old man lose?
そんなの
Which
決
is
まってる
still
じゃな
how
い
she
か。
refers to herself anyway, but... I twirled my guns on I twirled my guns on the tips of my fingers.
たまには勝たねえと格好がつかねえからだよ。
There were only a few people left alive. Rena, Satoko, and myself. Rena and Satoko were fighting fiercely. Were they evenly matched? No. Satoko was pushing her hard. Moving fast, she was driving Rena into a corner. Rena was usually gentle and slow, but today she was different. She was very serious today, and yet Satoko was still overwhelming her. She's a tough customer even without her tricky traps.
最初の威勢はどこへ行ってしまいましたのかしら。いい動きをするね。私も負けられないよ。
Satoko kept moving around, piling on pressure in order to pin Rena down. She kept shooting, so her tank must have been almost empty, but her shots were still sharp and fast. I noticed a bucket near her feet, which was full of many water guns. I understood seeing that. She had been taking guns from others who were already out of the game. In this battle, reloading bullets, water was more crucial than the actual shooting. The hole that you put the water into these guns was rather small. To put water through it from a faucet takes time and requires a certain amount of skill. In a battle like this, it would be almost suicidal. I understand that well, so I've been taking guns from the people I defeated, but I could only hold one in each hand. Satoko used a bucket to overcome the limit. Rena looked like she had only one water gun. I'd assumed she had two earlier, but she must have used a lot of water during her long battle with Satoko. It looked like she was trying to save her water for the right moment, but with Satoko's fierce attacks, it was obvious that it was only a matter of time before Rena was driven into a corner. However, Rena is also quite skilled. She only pretended to be driven into a corner, but she was actually luring Satoko to a place where she'd have the advantage. There was a narrow, twisting path near the gymnasium warehouse behind the school building. With Rena's water level running low, she'd want to turn things around with a single close-range shot. That narrow path was a perfect place for her to do that.
あれあれ、どうしたのかな。
Does this have different art? It doesn't. Okay.
攻撃の手が鈍ってきたね。疲れてきた？お気遣いは嬉しいですけど、まだまだでしてよ。それよりそちらのお水は大丈夫ですの？さっきから全然打ち返してきませんわよ。ひょっとしてもう玉切れじゃございませんの？
It's still crazy how this fucking chapter has been 30 minutes of them having a water gun fight.
そうだと思うならお顔を出してみたらどう？遠慮いたしましたよ。最後の一発を温存しているのは分かっていますわ。一発あれば十分だよ。体操服を濡らした気の毒だからね。死体を撃ってあげるね。
Aww. That's so
ま
nice
さ
of
か
Rena.
レナさんとこんなにもスリリングなやりとりができるなんて思いませんでしたわ。でも最後の一発分の水量では大して勢いもないでしょうから、射程もほとんどないんじゃありません？
Satoko was right about that. Rena had just enough water to make one last shot. As the amount of water left in the tank dwindles, the range of shots you can make shortens. That makes the last shot the shortest and the weakest of them all. Regardless of her absolutely disadvantageous situation, Rena didn't look frustrated. I could tell she had no intention to lose. It was almost like she didn't even see Satoko as a threat.
うまい位置に逃げ込みましたわね。私もさすがに慎重にならざるを得ませんわ。
Sadako seemed to understand how dangerous Rena's last shot was going to be. jeez. Satoko seemed to understand how dangerous Rena's last shot was going to be better than I did, since she was the one actually fighting against her.
私将棋はあまりやらないんですけれど、こういうのを詰め将棋って言うんでございましょうね。
Satoko took out another gun with a full tank and shortened the distance between them slowly and carefully. A gun with a full tank doesn't only have a long range, it also has enough power to make the shots more accurate. If they shot at each other in a frontal attack, Satoko would have a 99% chance to win. Even so, Satoko was still afraid of Rena's last shot. Satoko shortened the distance even further, smiling as if unafraid, but I could tell she was actually full of fear. Satoko compared the situation to chess earlier, but it wasn't exactly the same. Mind you, she referenced shogi, which is essentially like Japanese chess, but same thing. In chess, you can use some pieces to drive the opponent's king into a corner, but in this case, there were only Rena and Satoko. You can lose some of your pieces in order to achieve a win, but Satoko doesn't have any pieces other than herself. A king can't drive the other king into a corner alone. That's called a stalemate. That's why, while at first glance it looks like Satoko has the absolute advantage, they're actually on equal footing.
さあ参りますわよ。このままチャイムを待つなんて私たちらしくありませんわ。そうだね。勝負しよう。
That's strange. I thought Rena wouldn't have. That's strange. I thought Rena wouldn't have to move just on a dare from Satoko. What kind of plan did she have? Rena had been hiding behind cover for a while, but she came out without hesitation. I noticed something right away. Rena had a different gun. Oh, it's yours, the one that you dropped. Satoko seemed to notice as well.
ここには弾切れになったら逃げ込もうと考えててね。あらかじめ一丁拾って隠してあったの。
I thought it was the gun that Keiichi dropped at the beginning. Damn, she's good. In using a trap at the last moment for a come-from-behind victory, it was as though she was taking Satoko's best skill from her and firing it right back. Satoko no longer had any advantages now that both of them were pointing their guns at each other with full tanks. But she still looked confident. What's going on? Did she have some kind of plan too?
その一丁は私にとっても大切な一丁でしたわよ。どうしてかな。だってその一丁がなかったらレナさんはさっきの銃のまま一撃逆転を狙い続けてこうして私の前に姿を現したりしませんもの。
At that moment, lightning ran through my brain and I instantly understood the situation. Of course, Rena was in a disadvantageous situation earlier, but it was actually the same for Satoko, since she didn't have a chance to make her shot while Rena was in hiding. Rena had remained cautious in order to hit her with her last shot, and that made it difficult for Satoko to attack her. However, what if Rena didn't need to take the last shot for a come-from-behind victory? No, I said it wrong. What if Rena got a new gun with a full tank? She'd stop hiding and come out and fight against Satoko.
つまりレナさんがここを目指しながら逃げてその銃を拾うことは最初から読んでいましたってことですのよ。
Let Satoko talk crap, Rena. You don't have to listen to her, just shoot her right now. Rena thought the same thing. She shot at Satoko without any hesitation. But she frowned in confusion a moment after. What was going on? She couldn't shoot. Was her water gun broken? Or did somebody break it?
水鉄砲なんてちょっと砂粒を入れて空打ちすればすぐに詰まっちゃうんですのよ。
Oh no! She put sand in her water gun! Oh, Satoko, you bitch!
私が切り札をここに一丁持ってることを先に読んで細工したってわけだね。私いつも言ってましたよ。トラップは最後の最後でほんの一つささやかに。これが究極の美徳でございましたよ。
When it comes to traps, Satoko remained a notch above Rena after all. I couldn't believe Satoko figured out Rena's plan in advance and set a trap to counter it. Rena, you made a big mistake. You should have kept the old gun with you. You could have at least made that last shot. But it's too late now for you to pick it up again. Rena was in a worse situation than she was before. She couldn't even take another shot.
さて観念なさいませ。さっきレナさんは私の額を打つとか言われましたわね。私が逆に額を打って差し上げましたよ。
Satoko slowly narrowed her distance again and pointed the muzzle at Rena's forehead. Rena still didn't look like she'd given up. She still thought the game was undecided.
さとこちゃんもまだまだ甘いね。なんですって？ トラップで相手を仕留めたならね、さとこちゃんが余裕を見せるのは勝者の権利だと思う。だけどね、今のさとこちゃんは私を絡め取っただけで仕留めたわけじゃない。余裕を見せるのはまだまだ早い段階だとは思わない？何を言い出すかと思えば、今から仕留めるから同じことですわ。私が逆の立場なら脳書きなんか言わずにさっさと撃つ。じゃないと負けるから。負ける？誰が？あら、その壊れた水鉄砲でどうやって戦うおつもりで？被弾の定義覚えて。水鉄砲というこの容器から出た水が最初に触れたものが標的であった時、被弾とする。は？それが一体何だって言うんですの？
When I heard her saying that, I started running. My target was Rena. Satoko was already dead to me. Why? She was going to be shot by Rena within the second.
レナさんが何を言ってるのか私さっぱりでしたよ。その壊れた水鉄砲で何ができるおつもりだか。水鉄砲の中に水があれば戦えるんだよ。わかんないかな？
Yeah. Rena raised her broken water gun up high and smashed its handle on the wall of the school building as hard as she could. The plastic broke easily and water flowed out of it.
水鉄砲から出た水が当たればいいんだよ。水鉄砲のどこから出たかは問題にしてない。
Yeah, exactly. Rena was right. She just saved herself by thinking it through. If she was using a real gun, bullets would only come out of from one end of the gun. But this is a water gun. She could make her bullets, water in this case, come out of any place, not just the barrel of the gun. Yeah, so I thought she was gonna like unplug, like, you know, like take the little lid or whatever of the tank off and then just like swipe it at her and just splash her with water. So long as it came from the water gun, it would have been fine. Satoko finally realized that she was standing defenselessly in front of Rena. Satoko's trap was successful, but she overestimated its effect. She should have just shot Rena without hesitation before Rena noticed her new water gun was jammed. She was going to fail because she had grown overconfident of her victory. A second before Satoko pulled the trigger, Rena swung her water gun as if slashing Satoko with a sword. Yeah, okay. So she basically did what I thought she was gonna do. Satoko fired her bullets, but it was too late. A second before Rena would be shot down, a blade of water hit Satoko in the face. No, not hit, it cut her face open.
まだまだ爪が甘かったね。
この私が。
Rena ran towards Satoko, who was standing still in shock, and took her water gun. Rena knew I was her last target and that I was running towards her. Rena, using her superior mobility, began to duck and weave. We were evenly matched. Neither of us neglected to make any effort possible to take advantage of the situation.
最後には一騎打ちになると思ってたよ。やっぱりこうでなくっちゃね。
見直したぜ。とんでもない根性を見せてくれるじゃないか。
見直したより惚れ直したの方が嬉しいかな。
What a fucking scene. Look at this shit. Literally was not expecting water guns out of this at all. I also would have thought Keiichi would have had like a shirt with red for some reason. Anyway, this little CG looks a little weird, if I'm honest. If you look at the art, like the chins maybe. Yeah, the chins and the mouths are kind of weird. Anyway.
負けてくれたらそれでもいいぜ。
ごめんだね。
I also just read that line. I want you to see me in a romantic line. Or in a romantic light. Maybe if you let me win. No way. Anyway, we circled around the construction equipment trying to take shots at each other. We were both sweating like crazy, but I didn't feel tired. Big drops of sweat tickled as they ran down my body. rapid burst of water flew across both of our paths. Neither of us had the advantage or disadvantage. I didn't feel elated that I might win or frustrated that I might lose. I was just enjoying this battle with Rena. It was like a dance that I couldn't dance alone, a dance that I could only dance with an opponent.
本気のレナはやっぱり冴えるね。見てるだけで震えがくるよ。
そのレナさんと互角に渡り合うなんてケイチさんもやりますわね。どちらが勝つか全然予想がつきませんです。
In fact, none of the observers could tell who was going to win. Neither could we. We had no idea who was going to win. We had no idea when this battle would end. I didn't know why, but it was great fun just to fight against Rena, and I didn't even care whether I won or lost. In fact, I never even wanted it to end. As we fired at each other, both of our tanks emptied, shortening our range. Inevitably, it became more and more like a melee than a gun battle. We fired our guns as if trying to cut each other with blades of water, swinging the gun like a sword. We both came up with the idea to swing the gun hard to generate centrifugal force in order to increase the range of our attacks. I dived to duck her shot. I rolled on the ground and landed on my feet. I ducked her shot again and swung my gun like a sword. Who could have imagined that our club's water gun battle would turn into a one-on-one close combat like this? Absolutely nobody.
ああ、やっぱりレナもそう思うか。
じゃあケイチ君もそう思うんだ。
We were both breathing hard, calculating the timing needed to take a closer step. And then we both grinned wickedly at each other.
やり合うのが楽しくてならねえぜ。決着がつくことすら興ざめするくらいにな。
負けても恨まないでね。
ああ、恨まない。この勝負を終わらせた自分の不甲斐なさを恨んでやるぜ。だがそいつを恨むのはどうやらレナの方になりそうだな。
どうかな。ケイチ君、足が藁だよ。
くそったれー。あれー。
すごい。なんだかものすごくかっこいい。前原さん頑張れー。龍河さんしっかりー。
I became relaxed enough to enjoy the battle and finally realized that many of our classmates were watching our one-on-one fight. I barely had any water left. I would have to make the next shot count or I was done for. It seemed like Rena was in the same situation too.
泣いても笑っても次で終わりだな。水が有限なのが惜しいぜ。
限りがあるから美しい。花も一緒だよ。
なるほどな。そういう見方もあるか。
本当に楽しかった。でもこれで終わりだね。
Oh, I knew it. She was gonna say, "Kore de owari da."
だな。無粋かもしれんが勝って決着させてもらうぜ。
Oh.
上等だよケイチ君。
負けて泣くなよ。
勝負。
乗ったー。うわー。
He's just gargling water.
どっちが勝ったんですの？
The cries of the cicadas echoed in the quiet schoolyard. They sounded like the hand of a watch ticking away the seconds. Neither of us moved. We took our final shots and now stood motionless. It looked like one of those duels in Western movies.
どっちが先に？わかんない。全然見えなかった。
Our classmates broke the silence first. They finally realized that our intensely beautiful one-on-one battle was over.
委員長、判定は？
Why does she look so... Why is she blushing? Mion in turn realized that she had to deliver a verdict to end the game. But she was just as stunned as the others and it took her a moment to recover. Mion was taking time to render her verdict. In fact, Rena and I didn't know who won either. My last shot flew fast and splashed sideways, as if a blade had cut her chest. I knew that for sure. But at the same moment, Rena's shot hit me in the shoulder. Whoever shot the other first wins. But we didn't know if it was me or her. That's why we stood motionless, waiting for the verdict to be delivered.
リカには見えまして。僕にだってわかるわけないのです。
委員長、どっちの勝ちなの？
Everybody held their breath, waiting for Mion to call it. Rena and I kept staring at each other. The spectators were the only ones who were interested in who the winner was. To us, it wasn't that important. We had a great battle. We had both really wanted to do better than the other. We both wanted to call it a tie. For this great battle, settling for a tie would be the best and most proper option. In other words, this one-on-one fight wasn't a battle to decide the winner. It seemed like everybody is thinking the same way.
ミー、
うん。
That face is so fucking funny.
判定が出ないと二人とも動けませんです。
あ、うん。
Mion hates to settle for a tie because she loves to draw a line between superiors and inferiors. She tends to settle for a tie when deciding who is the loser because it's more fun to have as many people as possible suffer the punishment. But she's never settled for a tie between winners before. Mion holds a special feeling towards the meaning of being number one. Everybody continued holding their breath awaiting her verdict. Please make it a tie. Everybody wished for that in their hearts. Mion was hesitating to make the decision. She could have chosen a winner more easily if one of us did even a little bit better than the other. But even if one of us did a little better than the other, I feel like nothing fits better than settling for a tie.
今日の二人は見事だったよ。
Mion finally started speaking.
ケイちゃんもレナもここしばらくの連敗に発奮し、最高の力を発揮してくれた。その瞬発力は評価の高低の段階を超えて、もはや美しいと呼べるまでに昇華されてたよ。私は二人の最高の戦いぶりに評価を惜しめない。
じゃあ決着はどうなるんですの？
快速の精神から1位を二人に認定するのは好ましくない。でも二人にはわずかの優劣もなく、どちらを膠着させるかの判断もとてもつかない。よって本日の戦いを預かり勝負とし、後日改めて決着をつけることといたしたい。
No way. I expected she might settle for a tie, but I never thought she'd make us have another battle.
灰原さん、すごかったですよ。かっこよすぎます。竜宮さんにもしびれました。なんかこう、まあ見てるこっちまで熱くなるというか。
The classmates rushed towards us and praised us for having showing them something that cool. Ren and I were finally released from the tension of battle and dropped to our knees.
残念。決着をつけ損なったね。
まあな、次の機会を楽しみにしようぜ。
肩を貸してほしいな。
先に言うな。俺が借りようと思ったのに。
We both smiled at each other. It was the first time we ever hit it off like this.
それはそうと。
うまいことやったよな。
うまいことって何がですの？みーちゃん、うまいこと言って今日の罰ゲームうやむやにする気だ。
ギク。
かっこつけときながら保身第一ってあたりがミオンっぽい。うん。
あ、
逃げたぞ。図星かよ。わかりやすいやつだな。
The bell rang, a sign that class was over, while we all laughed at Mion. After that,
二人ともお疲れ様なのです。タオルをどうぞなのです。
Rika held out a towel, Rika held out a towel, a big smile on her face. However, Rena and I stepped back and pointed our water guns at her.
みー、もうみんなにいっぱいいっぱい撃たれましたのです。もう撃たれてると言っても誰も信じてくれないのですよ。
Rika was soaking wet. Well, nobody believed her because she really could be that sneaky, pretending that she was hit in order to stay in the game.
普段が普段でございますものね。信じろというのが難しい相談でございましてよ。
Yeah, why would she be soaking wet? Like, if she got shot once, like, she would just be like, alright, I'm out, and just stand, like, on the sides or something.
みー、
But instead, she was soaking wet?
みんながいじめるのです。
Like, did someone pour, like, splash a bucket on her
僕
or
は
something?
もう一人ぼっちなのです。
Oh.
段ボール箱の中でミーミー泣いて誰も拾ってくれないかわいそうかわいそうな猫さんなのですよ。ミーミー。
Oh no. Aww. The sound came from Rena's head. I saw a circle of smoke coming out of it. Rena must have pictured Rika meowing like a cat in a cardboard box.
リカちゃん捨ててあるよ、捨ててある。レナが拾うよ。お持ち帰り。
Rena, you're ruining how cool we looked earlier. Rena was back to her normal self and jumped on Rika like a chameleon capturing its prey. Chameleons don't jump as far as I know. Anyway, Rika struggles to get away.
はーい皆さん、早く教室に戻りなさい。
Really, they didn't give Chie, like, a portrait. Okay. Chie clapped her hands and yelled at us from the window of the teacher's
行
office.
こうぜみんな。
Everybody exchanged smiles and ran back to the classroom. Now, is this the halfway mark or the actual chapter end? Because it's been an hour. And I'm not sure. We'll see. That's it? That was the chapter? What? What's going on here? Okay, well, let's view the new tip. So, pleasant weather. One reason I like my house is because it has good ventilation. As long as there's a nice breeze, I don't have to rely on a fan to keep me cool. I can take down my futon from the windowsill, place my cushion near the open window, and enjoy the cool breeze of the evening. According to my page-a-day calendar, it's June 1983 today. While it was still June, it seemed like summer skipped the rainy season and was already coming around the corner. This was very abnormal, apparently. Even if it was abnormal weather that only comes around once in 100 years, it was supposed to come in June of 1983. If it was supposed to come in June of 1983, then it wasn't so much of a big deal. It was inevitable. On the other hand, the sudden evening shower on the way home from school was more unpredictable than anything else. Every day had been in perfect harmony, as if it was all carefully planned. I felt like something good was going to happen this year. How should I put it? It's like the feeling I get when I roll a 6 on the first throw of a board game and start off with a huge lead. When it comes to a die, the more you roll it, the more the total averages out. We actually roll a die many times every day of our lives. So it's not like one stroke of luck is really a big deal to be overly happy with. If I roll a 6 on my first throw and a 1 on the next throw, the total is 7. If you believe in fate, you might say that there's a higher possibility of a 1 to come up on the die. But you can never actually tell what number you will roll. That's what fate is all about. You might roll a 6 again. The chance of rolling a 6 twice in a row is 1 out of 36. But if you look at each throw one by one, there's only a 1/6 chance of that miracle. The glass wind chime Satoko put up yesterday was making a refreshing sound. I knew this was Rika. I fucking knew it. Unless it's supposed to be Satoshi, but I don't believe it. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Rika. And it's her talking about the weather. Oh boy. Well, let's go ahead and save. And let's do 2 of these. Let's do 1 more chapter. Let's see where this goes. Because that was like pretty short. I awoke from my dream still feeling excited. I must have had a very happy dream. I already forgot what it was about, but I felt as if there was a switch that automatically made me forget my dreams when I opened my eyes. All I could remember is that it was a happy dream. I looked at the ceiling and enjoyed the happy feeling for a while. It was Sunday today, just like today. Outside the window, I could hear morning bird song. I could hear the morning bird song that sounded totally different from what I heard on weekdays. The morning bird song on weekdays sounded like they were in a rush, as if they were telling me to hurry to school. But on Sunday, it's different. I could tell that the birds are singing simply because they want to tell everybody how great a morning it is. I even felt like the birds that sing on weekdays must be different birds from the ones that sing on Sunday. I wonder if there really are birds that only sing on Sunday. It sounds like a very luxurious job for some reason. It's a waste to listen to such a valuable bird song when you're not quite awake. As I fully awaken, my normal, crude personality takes over, and I start feeling stupid to even think that there might be birds that sing only on Sunday. As I yawned and stretched, my blood started circulating through my entire body. It felt good. I turned over and looked at the clock, which says it's past 10 a.m. I used to go to my cram school on Sunday at 10 a.m. That was before I moved to Hinamizawa. My parents made me go to several cram schools back then. I remember that the one that I had to go to on the first and third Sundays of the month was the hardest one of all, because I had to change trains several times to get there. I was never allowed to sleep in so late back then. My mom always woke me up early so that I didn't miss my classes. That's probably why I always dreamed of being able to wake up whenever I wanted on a Sunday. And so do remember, like currently in Japan, students have weekends off. And by that I mean grade school students, so, you know, elementary, middle, high school, right? They have Saturdays and Sundays off. Before, I believe, the early 2000s, that wasn't a thing. I believe it all changed in like 2002 or something. Or maybe it was the turn of the millennium. But before, kids would go to school from Monday to Saturday and only have Sundays off. So imagine if you had to go to cram school anyway. You would have to go to school every single fucking day of your life until a break would come up, and then you would probably still go to a cram school for that break, or until you finally graduated from grade school. I don't remember if universities do or did Saturday and Sunday. I'll ask a friend of mine later, and I'll ask her what happened when she went to university back then. Maybe she can tell me. But anyway, needless to say, I don't feel that way anymore now that I moved to Hinamizawa. After all, I can always sleep till noon on Sunday now. My life has changed completely since I moved here. Before, I used to think living in the countryside would be really inconvenient. To be honest, I wasn't even interested in living here. But it was only the first few days that felt that way. Now, I don't feel attached to the life in the city or its conveniences. When I think about what part of my life in Hinamizawa I'm most attached to, I'd have to say, it's probably my friends. I guess the reason why I'm being so sentimental is probably because I had so much fun yesterday in the water gun fight with all my classmates. Despite my age, I got so into it and had so much fun. I bet the kids in the city wouldn't be able to play like that. No, I should say that they wouldn't even want to in the first place. They wouldn't even realize how exciting a simple water gun fight could be. I went downstairs and saw my parents watching a serious TV program arguing about the topic together.
だいたい日本の電話料金は高すぎるんだ。国が電話事業を独占してるからこういうことになるんだ。
でも民間企業ってのは営利団体なのよ。慈善団体なわけじゃないんだし、全国一律のサービスを本当に維持できるわけ？
The experts on TV were arguing about the same thing. It seems like there's a possibility the telephone service will get privatized. I'm too young to understand how privatization could make things better, but I could easily assume that people will start talking about privatizing the postal service in the near future too. My parents were arguing about the topic fiercely, but they got along very well. I don't know too much about this topic, at least of how it works in Japan, so I can't really inform me of what it's like nowadays. I know there's still like the Central Japanese Postal Service, which, you know, that they've got, but then there's also a lot of like private postal services in Japan that are still in operation. Same things with like some Western countries where that's the thing. Like in the US, you do have the United States Postal Service, but you also have other services like FedEx, you've got UPS, you've got DHL, but DHL is more for like, I think, warehouse deliveries, but you get the point. Let's put it this way. They get along well, and that's why they argue. I don't remember seeing them get along this well when we were living in the city. This is probably one of the things that got better since we moved to Hinamizawa. A cold relationship between parents doesn't bring any benefits to their
あら
kids.
圭一、日曜にしては早いわね。朝ごはん食べる？
You're up early, it's 10 a.m. instead of noon.
今日はいらない。あと今日は外で食べるから昼飯もいらないや。
なんだ、友達と一緒か。圭一がよく話す部活というやつか。
いや、今日は部活じゃない。昨日の罰ゲームというか、なんというか。
Someone rang the doorbell. I looked at the clock and noticed it's time to meet Rena. I guess I spent too much time enjoying waking up late. I ran upstairs to get a change of clothes. I quickly changed and ran to the front door. Rena was chatting with my parents. I always feel uncomfortable when my parents talk to my friends. I'm afraid they'll say something embarrassing about me. If they told Rena that I wet my bed till I was so many years old or something, she wouldn't wait until Monday to tell everybody in my school, or maybe even everybody in Hinamizawa.
ようレナ、おはよう。待たせて悪い悪い。
圭一くん
Rena and my parents looked at me and laughed. I said good morning and they laughed. I guess I was too late. My parents must have already told Rena some embarrassing secrets about me. I don't want my parents to tell her anything else, so I put on my shoes in a rush and pushed Rena out of the house. My parents waved at us, smiling.
いってらっしゃい。レナちゃん、圭一をよろしくお願いね。
はいおばさま。圭一くんはレナがちゃんと面倒を見ますから。
何の面倒だか知らんが、見んでいい見んで。
I dragged Rena away from the house and we went our way. We rode our bicycles to the town of Okinomiya. It's a long way away. It's an easy ride to the town because it's mostly downhill, but needless to say, it's a hard ride on the way back. I felt like Rena was giggling whenever she looked at me. I badly wanted to know what kind of embarrassing information my parents had fed her before I came downstairs. I tried to give her a new subject to talk about in order to get whatever she heard from my parents out of her mind.
レナって何気にうちの親と仲いいよな。
仲いいよ。よくお話しするもん。
よくお話っていつしてるよ。俺は見かけたことないぞ。
おばさまとはよくお買い物の時に会うかな。特売日とかポイントセールの日なんかはよく会うね。
ああ、確かにおふくろは特売日とかまめにチェックしてるな。冷蔵庫のとこに磁石でいろいろとメモが貼ってあってさ、どこそこで何がいつ安いなんてのが書いてあるのを見かけるよ。
それでね、今夜は何にしましょうねって話をしながら一緒に買い物するの。カレールーが特売だから今夜はカレーにしようかななんて話になると、じゃあうちもなんて感じで。
そういえば一昨日はカレーだったな。じゃあレナのとこもカレーだったわけか？
そうなんだよ。一昨日はポークカレーだったでしょ。豚肉が安かったから一緒に買ったの。だからね、私の家でもカレーを食べながら、今頃圭一くんも同じカレーを食べてるんだろうなって思ってた。
So she knows what I'm eating for dinner almost every day. It didn't bother me, but I did kind of feel
お
embarrassed.
じさまとはお買い物の時に一緒に会うことが多いかな。圭一くんのおじさまとおばさま、本当に仲良しなんだね。
そういえばよく一緒に買い物に行くな。確かにいい年して仲はいい方だと思う。
や やっぱり両親の仲がいいのはとても大事なことだと思うよ。お買い物にも一緒だなんてなんだか素敵で羨ましいな。
なんだかさっきから俺の親の話ばかりで恥ずかしいぞ。レナのとこはどうだよ。
I believe he said, let's stop talking about my parents, that it's embarrassing. Or it's embarrassing to talk about my parents. What about yours?
仲いいか？
仲いいよ。いつもべったりしてる。だからね、レナに居場所がない。
That's really cute. Her parents are a lovey-dovey couple, huh? Never met Rena's mother, but I imagine she's just like Rena. I could easily imagine her mother going crazy about the spot her husband missed when shaving because it looks so cute to her, like sesame seeds on white rice. She must love to touch her husband's chubby stomach because it feels so soft. It was funny how easily I could imagine her mother doing those things.
突然笑い出すなんて、何かな
レナの家のおばさんがどんな人かものすごい気になるぞ。俺も今度レナのおばさんに会ってみることにするぜ。
ダメ。
レナだって俺のおふくろと話をしてるじゃないかよ。
See, like, they were using the word like obasan before, but the word is like ofuro to refer to like a mother. So I don't know if they were just like, I'm trying to think of the context for this, because usually it's like, you know, like obasan just means like, you know, old woman, or woman who is no longer young is what the word means. It's something along those lines. So, well, ofuro is specifically like mother. Anyway.
ならおあいこだろ？
だって圭一くんなんかがあってもいいことないよ。全然立派な人じゃないし。
会う前からかなり予想はついてるんだけどな。ズバリレナにそっくりだろ？
そんなことない。全然似てないよ。
その過剰な反応が雄弁に答えを物語ってるぞ。とにかくレナのおばさんに興味が出たぜ。今度ご挨拶に伺うからな。覚悟してやがれ。
そんなのダメ。圭一くんがレナの家に来たらレナ怒るよ。すっごい怒る。
普段お宅のお嬢さんに大変お世話になっております。いや、お嬢さんと真剣なお付き合いをさせてもらってるものですくらいの方が面白いかもしれないな。
もしうちに来たらみーちゃんたちに圭一くんのちっちゃい頃の話をしちゃおうかな。かな
Your mom already told her.
ちっちゃい頃とは具体的にはいくつの頃のエピソードだ？
レナがおばさまに聞いたのは4つの時の話と6つの時の滑り台の話とあと
すみませんでしたレナさん。
And the one about where you were, I am so sorry, Rena. Please accept my please offer me your forgiveness.
レナさんの目の黒いうちは竜宮家の半径100メートルには絶対近寄らないようにするっす。
ありがとう。
Damn it, Mom. I'll remember this. We arrived at the station. The place where we were going today is right near here, or right near there. It's a restaurant called Angel Mort. We were meeting up with the others there. We're having the punishment game here? I was surprised when I saw the restaurant. It's usually a normal and quiet restaurant, but today there were many people in front of it. And it didn't look like they were waiting in line to get inside. It looked more like they were just loitering around. They should just line up and go inside like normal
う
people.
わー、なんだよこれ。 すっげえ人だな。
今日はイベントデーだからね。
I knew it. It's the fucking cake tasting event.
この
Or
日
the
のた
dessert
め
one
にすっ
again.
ごい遠くから来てる人たちも大勢いるんだって。
Is it? There's a flag saying dessert festa in front of the restaurant. I heard that Angel Mord holds events like this several times a year, and a lot of people come to attend from all over.
今日のデザートフェスタはね、抽選に当たってチケットがもらえた人しか入店できないの。でね、1枚のチケットで4人まで入場できることになっててね。
なるほどな。チケット持ってる友人が来るのをこうして店の前で待ってるわけか。
ちょっと違うかな。チケットの人にはね、たまに4人未満で来る人もいるの。
つまりなんだ？落選者たちがチケット当選者のおこぼれに預かろうとこうして群がってるってわけなのか。
At that time, the crowd of people roared in excitement. What was going on?
こいつチケット持っているでござるよ。チケットは4人まで入れるのに1人で入ろうなんておこがましいにゃりん。残り3人の枠にぜひ加えてくださいにゃ。
僕を仲間に加えてくれたらエンジェルモートトレカのレアカードを申請するよ。
おいらならフロントフィールドの夏コミ新刊を限定本付きで。
日暮らしベータ版世界モード搭載版で譲って。
Oh my fucking god. Oh god. I'll give you the beta version of Higurashi with a mode that lets you change everyone's outfits.
G 氏の魔改造フィギュアでな
I
んとか。
fucking knew it. It's really cute when they add little references like these, even though the game wouldn't exist for another 20 years.
俺はこのお米券でどうだ。こんな愚か者。
よくわからん騒ぎになっとるぞ。
Oh, RMT, real money trading. Fuck, I almost forgot. I was like, what the fuck did they mean by that? And this is a reference to like MMOs, with how you can't do any of that usually for the most part, or online games in general, where you can't do real money trading because otherwise, you know, your account will get banned.
このお店のコアなファンはちょっと怖いからね。
ところで俺たちのチケットってのはどうなってるんだ？第一、俺たちメンバーって5人組だろ？チケットの定員じゃ。
ほら、このお店みーちゃんの親類のお店だからね。
ミオンって時々すげえよな。
Rina makes a fist and gets all fired up.
じゃあ行こう。一気に駆け抜けるからね。
それが最良の策みたいだな。よし。
We nodded at each other. Since we were a group of two, at present, it looked like we had 2 more seats to share. These people might try mobbing us in order to get a share. We crouched down, getting ready to run. The crowd of people seemed to notice us.
あの2人強行突破を試みるつもりにゃりん。しかも女子と2人きりでボックスシートを埋めようとは不届き千万。一緒に座ってラブラブな空気を打ち砕いてやるでござる。
最後の一発まで抵抗しろ。
でござる。Oh my fucking god.
ゲルマンの鉄の意志を見せてやるのだ。
No, please don't use that sentence. You make me look bad. Damn, they were gonna tackle us. They do whatever it took to stop us from getting inside the restaurant.
今日はみーちゃんたちみんなの罰ゲームの日。私たちがお店に入れなかったら昨日の勝利が無意味になっちゃう。
それだけは認められねえな。俺たちがベストを尽くして得た勝利だ。だからミオンたちの罰ゲームを見届けるのは権利である。
義務でもあるもんね。
とかっこよく決めたところで下心丸出しなんだけどな。
さとこちゃんやりかちゃんどんな格好かな。お持ち帰り。
ヤングカップルめ。お おとなしくチケットを差し出すでござるよ。ここは通さねえぜ。
エンジェルモートのイベントチケットを2人だけで消化しようなどとは許せんにゃりん。余った枠に我らを加えるでござるよ。
They reached their hands towards us like zombies. They gradually got closer and closer. We were actually taking it easy though. In fact, I'd say the situation was rather enjoyable.
なんだか昨日の部活がまだ続いてるみたいだね。
ああ、なんだか面白くなってきたぜ。連中を蹴散らして一気に行くぜ。
了解。みーちゃんやさとこちゃんを相手に回すよりは簡単かな
だな。他の部活メンバーを敵に回すのに比べたら見たとこ悪いが俺たちを止めるには人数がちょいと足りないぜ。
よーし、じゃあ行くよ。
おう。
Our enemies outnumber us about 20. Our enemies' numbers are about 20 to 30. If they wanted to stop us, they should have gotten 10 times more people than that.
「いらっしゃいませ。エンジェルモートへようこそ。本日はイベントデーになりますが、チケットはお持ちですか？
チケットはないですけど名乗ればいいと言われてます。竜宮レナと前原圭一です。
ただいまリストを確認しております。少々お待ちください。
Seems like many fans of this restaurant aren't normal people. I bet they try to get in with lies or fake tickets. No wonder those waiters make sure to check the list.
いやしかし恐ろしい連中だった。あんなのがひしめいていたら健全な客は店内までたどり着けないぞ。
そうかもだね。でもレナの行く手を阻むことは誰にもできないんだよ。は
それはそうと相変わらずのキレだったな。あれは肘か膝か。顔面の急所を正確にぶち抜くとは恐ろしいやつ。
The way Irena swept them off their feet with super fast invisible jabs was incredible. It even gave me a chill just thinking about it.
だってレナのお持ち帰りを邪魔するんだもん。きっとみんなかいいよ。みんなお持ち帰り。
怪異モードのレナが相手じゃな。まあ連中もあれだけ派手にぶちのめされれば敗北を受け入れられるだろう。
圭一くんだってすごかったよ。大勢に囲まれて飲み込まれたと思ったら急にシーンとなって、その後みんな涙を流しながら道を開けてた。なんでかな。
いや別に落選したお前たちの代わりにこの俺が入店してやる。だからどうしよくん、今は涙を流しても次の抽選の勝者になれ。
So he did his whole pervert strategy, where he appealed to their sense of like moe and cuteness and shit like that. Oh my god.
とまあそのあたりのことを少々語ったらみんな理解してくれたようで。
圭一くんってアジテーション得意だよね。聞いている人を共感させる能力というか、我が部の口先の魔術師って感じ。
その口先の魔術師ってもう他の通り名はないのかよ。
どうだろうね。考えてみるね。
Irena laughs loudly.
大変お待たせしました。リストにお名前を確認しました。お席へご案内します。どうぞこちらへ。
The waitress led us to our seats. The restaurant was completely packed today. It made for a cheerful but sort of crazy atmosphere. All the customers in the restaurant were very unique people, just like the ones loitering around outside. It's a very funny way to say, like, otaku. There was an aura of excitement in the store, and it also smelled a bit sweaty. Yeah. And they were also talking excitedly about, they were also talking excitedly using special terms that I don't understand. Again, just like the otaku outside. Saying people might be a little too much to refer to these individuals. But,
やはりエンジェルモートは制服命だすね。食は舌で味わうものでござるが、エンジェルモートは目で味わうのでござるよ。
You taste food with your tongue, but in Angel Mort you can taste it with your eyes too.
今日は大運のウェイトレスさんはいないでござるか。
Oh my god.
むほほほほほほ。女の子のローテのチェックは基本ですよ。ツンデレ好きなら火木の17時以降は絶対抑えたいですね。逆属性の方は金曜17時以降が勝負。
I regret coming here today. And at the same time, I was really glad that I didn't lose the game yesterday. The punishment might be a bit easier for the girls, but as a guy, if I had to undergo this punishment today, I would have been kicked and punched by these crazy customers because they would have been burning with anger. Let me explain. I didn't come here just to eat lunch with Rena today. The punishment is as follows. The losers have to wear a costume that was randomly chosen and help with the event at Angel Mort as a waitress. The winners can enjoy eating desserts receiving service from the losers. When this punishment was announced, I'd actually prepared myself for the punishment because I thought I'd lose the game like always. I was losing a lot recently, so I didn't think I could win. I assumed that Rena felt the same way. Who could imagine that Rena and I would do so well as to win? You're great, Keiichi. You made me proud. Everybody started shouting, clapping their hands, and whistling for joy. I don't blame them. They came here just for the event at Angel Mort. None of them expected to see the waitresses wearing different costumes like this.
Me.
Oh god.
Rika-chan!
まあ待て、落ち着けレナ。ここでお持ち帰ったら罰ゲームにならん。
Rika appears with glasses of water and wet napkins on a tray. They drew lots to decide on the costumes. Rika's costume is the uniform of Angel Mort, which we use regularly for
い
punishments.
らっしゃいませ。エンジェルモートへようこそなのですよ。
Rika put the glasses of water and wet napkins in front of Rena and me. She sounds like a dog.
かいいよ。お持ち帰り。
Rena raised her weird voice, and everybody in the store followed suit.
お持ち帰り。
Everybody started shouting the phrase. Before I knew it, they were surrounding our table, trying to burn the scene of Rika servicing customers into their minds. Oh my god. She looks so weird like this. It's literally just like a one-piece swimsuit, or like the art for the one-piece swimsuit. And then they used like the assets of Angel Mort to build the rest of the costume, like the frills and the sleeves and the skirt. It's kind of awkward looking, that's for sure. But here's Rika in the console art. And then ugh. Oh, I don't need like that. You can't even recognize that Rena. That Rena is a skinwalker. This creature before us is not Rena. It's a skinwalker. Look at this shit. Oh, it looks so terrible, but it's like the most normal looking manga gamer like piece of art. Anyway.
Me.
And again we'll show off Rika with her different faces in this new outfit.
チロチロ見られると恥ずかしいのです。
You have to remember again, Rika is also like a priestess. Like she's a literal priestess. Imagine if a nun did this. Like a real, like a nun did this. Someone that you knew that would go to church every single fucking day, and she would dress, you know, in the nun's like attire. And then one day you go to a restaurant and she's wearing this. That's the same thing here with Rika.
そういえばおなじみのエンジェルモート制服だが、どことなく違う気がするのは気のせいか？
Don't tell me they didn't have any in her size, because she's so small, so they had to use a swimsuit.
それはですね、前原さん。
Okay, I thought they would have his voice
僕
or
が
his
説明い
sprite.
たします。
Tomita, our underclassman, pushed his way through the crowd.
ああ、富田くんじゃないか。
Yeah, here they are.
なんだ、岡村くんも二人とも当選してたのか。
そんなことはどうでもいいんです、前原さん。それよりもここで古出さんの衣装について説明しましょう。ご存知の通り、エンジェルモートの制服は成熟した女性の魅力を前面に押し出すことを最大の目的とした衣装です。よって着衣には多少の成熟した年齢相応のプロポーションが必要とされます。その意味においては未発達な体型である古出さんとは最も相性の悪い制服と言えるでしょう。
That is such a weird fucking line to say. Or like, your choice of words was horrible. This is the least compatible uniform for Furude, because she's still at an early stage of development. Oh my
それだ
god.
けでなく問題となったのは古出さんの体型に合うサイズを店舗側が用意できなかったことにあります。そのため古出さんはエンジェルモートの制服を着るという罰ゲームを実行するためには工夫をせざるを得なかったのです。そこで古出さんはプール用の水着で衣装を代用したのですが、それによりカミオも予見できなかったであろう水着とエンジェルモート衣装というありえない組み合わせが生まれたのです。
I knew it.
この武装により現在の古出さんの攻撃力は従来火力をはるかに凌駕。
Jeez, it's so eccentric that God couldn't see it coming.
属性付
Oh
与、
my
状
god.
態異常の追加、クリティカル発生率の大幅アップ、しかも上昇中に
Oh my
は
God.
無敵時間まで与えられるに至ったのです。この素晴らしさがわかりますか？わかりますよね。つまりこれを竜宮さん風に言うとこうです。お持ち帰り。
Oh my fucking god, dude.
ダメだよ、ダメダメ。お持ち帰るのはレナなんだよ。でも気持ちはわかるよ。お持ち帰り。
Tomita and Okamura held Rena's shoulders as they shouted the phrase in their excitement. The phrase had spread throughout the entire store and was now out of control. Anyway, Tomita and Okamura surprised me sometimes. For their age, they're so good at giving passionate speeches they'll probably make it big in the future.
みーちゃんとさとこちゃんは二人も楽しみ。
At that time, the crowd sent up another roar. I hear Mion telling them to let her through. I don't remember what kind of costume she picked.
あれはどういうことっすか？
The fuck is this? Is this the baseball player? Is it the perverted baseball player?
亀田くんかよ。
I believe so.
そっか、デザート魔人の君がデザートフェスタにいないわけないよな。いや、元気？
元気かどうかなんてどうでもいいっす。それよりあれはどうなってるんすか？
Kameda was in a state of great excitement. Thick veins were displaying on his forehead. The source of that excitement appears through the crowd.
こうなりゃやけだね。
Oh god. and now we just have Mion. What? She's wearing like half a sailor suit, half a swimsuit?
毎度どうも。ウルトラレアチーズケーキお待たせしました。
Mion appeared with a cake on a tray. Oh, now I remember what she picked for her costume.
みーちゃんもかわいいよ。
ああ、もうとんでもない災難だよ。この格好はケイちゃんにやらせるつもりだったのにな。
前原さん、この格好も並々ならぬものがあります。しかも普段の部活では上昇無敗、完璧鉄壁猛満隊の委員長の普段の姿を知れば知るほどに8割深さ 500% だと思います。しかし天下無敵の委員長ですら逃れることがかなわないとは、恐るべきは部活です。
そういうことっすか。ケイ2人で同じ器の巨大パフェを付き合った仲じゃないっすか。それなのに俺に内緒でそんな素敵な部活をしてたなんて納得いかないっす。こんな部活の存在知ってたら野球なんかやらなかったのに。
Oh my god.
俺の人生のリセットボタンはどこ？
The crowd roars in excitement. What a great
なんと
club.
いうこんな夢のような部活は聞いたことないにゃり。
みんなダメだよ。部活はひなみ沢に住んでる人しか入れないんだよ。
なんと
これは住民票をひなみ沢に移すっきゃな。
Stop there, Irena. The population of Hinamizawa might double by tomorrow.
しかし素晴らしい罰ゲームっすよ、ケイ。
Oh, Mion has a cat tail as well? Okay, I didn't realize, or I didn't notice that she had a bell collar on her. Because the other art didn't show it. And what about the classic art? Oh my god.
女性を美しくする衣装は例えるならデザートのデコレーションと同じなんす。
And of course the classic art here.
ショートケーキだって全て剥いてしまえば単なるスポンジケーキに過ぎないんです。それをクリームで飾り、十重旗への美しい装飾が奏でる素晴らしき魅惑のハーモニーはめっしかるにこのセーラー服とブルマの組み合わせは素晴らしい。本来ならどちらも日常的な学校衣装であり、それはそれで味わいがあるのですが、それはそれで置いといて、制服と体操服という近いカテゴリーにありながら交わることのなかったこれら衣装を、そうデザートに例える誰もが絶対に合わないと思った組み合わせが誰もがの未体験の未知なる味わいを持たせるに至ったのです。
ケイちゃんってケイって呼ばれてるの？この暴走特急と仲良かったんだ。
全力で無関係を装わせてください。
Wait a minute. How would you not know him? Unless she's not implying that she doesn't know. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm reading too much into it.
なんだ
A guy tumbled in and landed on his feet elegantly. It was Coach.
許しません。許しませんよ、前原さん。
Coach glared at me in anger. He was breathing hard with a scary expression on his face.
許さないって 何が許さないんですか？
あれですよ
Satoko in a maid outfit, I think. This of all things, that's what set off Coach. That's so fucking funny. What does it look like? Oh, oh my god. Ugh. Wait. Here she doesn't have gloves, here she does? Oh, that's so fucking weird. Anyway. At the moment of his scream, 3 different metal buckets fell on his head, one after another, and a Chinese wonk finished the job.
まあこの格好が罰ゲームになった時点で多少は心の準備がありましたのよ。
It's a really cute image, that's for sure.
さとこのメイドさんはある意味命に関わりますです。さとこちゃんのメイドさんかわいいよ。お持ち帰り。
それはさせません。お持ち帰るのはこの私、入江京介です。
ダメだよ、ダメダメダメ。レナのお持ち帰りを邪魔するとハウハウハウハウ。
Yeah, so if you haven't realized it yet, a lot of these are just references to a lot of the mini games that we've been playing after every other chapter, usually near the end of the series. So it's really cute seeing the references. Once Rena goes into cute mode, she becomes merciless. If a rock tried to sabotage her chances to take her favorite home with her, she'd break it into pieces. If it was a river, she'd fill it up with sand. If it was the sea, she'd split it in half like Moses did and walk through it. What? Coach got up on his feet like a zombie. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he could still get up after getting hit by all of those super fast attacks.
無駄ですよ。聞きません。ほら、無駄無駄無駄です。入江は何度でもよみがえる。メイドがそこにいれば何度でもよみがえる。それが人類の夢だからだ。ギャッグヒビョ。
それでもダメ。レナがお持ち帰り。ハウ。
Idio was down on the floor, his body twitching. Rena just hit him with a barrage at point-blank range.
しかし圧巻な光景だな。
Also, just realized that Mion's hands are like, you know, kind of like a cat. Anyway, here's the full classic display. And then the console version. And then this thing. Ugh. Anyway.
勝ってよかったと同時に負けてたらその一角に俺がいたかもしれないことを思うととても笑えん。
全く悔しいですわね。いくら罰ゲームも部活の務めとはいえ、こんな格好はあんまりでございましてよ。
チェ、おじさんの格好に比べたらさとこの格好なんてまともな方じゃない。
メイドの格好がまともに見える時点でみんなただれてると思いますです。
ほらほらレナ、いつまでもハウハウしてないで席に座れ。
He said stop going how how.
負けた連中にサービスしてもらうのが勝者の特権なんだからよ。
今日は誰をお持ち帰ろうかな。ハウ。
そらウェイトレスさん、今日のおすすめは何かな。
こちらのフルーツパフェはいかがでしょうか。
ただいまシュークリームのセットがお安くなってましたよ。 お水ならいくらおかわりしても OK なのです。
Rena's nose was bleeding because she got to keep the waitresses in cute costumes all to herself. I should actually thank her for acting crazy like that because it made me look calmer than I really am. I was excited as her, and my nose would bleed too if I wasn't careful. I now understand what a slack-jawed smile means.
ねえねえ、リカちゃんウェイトレスさん、あーんやって。あーんですよ。
さとこ、俺にも一つ頼むよ。ああ、ミオンには肩でも揉んでもらおっかな。
もう悔しいですわね。
Oh my god. She looks so weird like that.
ほら。あんなさいませ。
チェ肩もみか。おじさんの肩もみは高くつくからね。
The audience gasped at the sight. I bet Angel Ward has never had an event as exciting as this one. Every table had 4 people squeezed in together, but only Rena and myself were at this table, and the 3 waitresses in cute costumes were exclusively serving us. They were giving us shoulder massages and feeding us desserts too. This had never happened before at Angel Ward, and it never will again.
そうでござったか。
Because they all die this year, that's why. It's foreshadowing from Keiji. Anyway.
この人たちはウェイトレスさんでござったか。では拙者もお冷やを一つお願いしたいでござるよ。
One of the other customers wanted to get a piece of the wonderful treatment and patted Mion on the shoulder.
ああ、悪いけどおじさんウェイトレスじゃないのよ。お冷やはあっちにいる本物のウェイトレスにお願いしてくれる？
なんとウェイトレスさんではないのでござるか。お申しはしてもらえんのでござるか。
別に私たち店員さんじゃございませんもの。あなたたちにサービスする言われなどありませんでしたよ。僕もサトコもミーも勝者の2人の慰み者なのですよ。
納得でき
Oh, you riled up all the smelly Yu-Gi-Oh players. All of a sudden, or actually, what year is this? 83? Damn, not even then. Oh well, doesn't matter.
納得できんって。一体何が納得できないんだよ。
All of a sudden, Kameda-kun screamed at me and started to blame me.
ケイさんばっかりこんな美味しい部活ができてずるすぎるさ。
Mind you, this dude is literally playing baseball at a college level in high school, and he's complaining that he can't partake in these activities.
いや、それは俺たちも相応のリスクを払って得た権利だからな。ずるいと言われても。
僕たちもずるいと思います。
Oh, all 3 of them are here. Homita and Kameda were standing behind Kameda.
大体前原さんが昨日ので優勝できたのは僕たちが委員長を背後からやっつけたからですよ。
前原さんが負けたら罰ゲームがかわいそうだなと思ってわざと負けてあげたんです。
Yeah, sure.
僕たちにもちょっとは感謝してほしいです。
なんだか面白い展開になってきたね。どうするケイちゃん。
どうするも何も俺にどうしろと。
よしよし、亀田君に富田、岡村、そこまで言うなら今日の勝者の権利をかけてケイちゃんとレナに勝負を挑んでみたら。
Mion just wants Keiichi to put on the fucking outfit.
みーちゃん、それってどういう意味かな。
部活メンバーの他の精鋭たちを圧倒的大差で破ったお二人だもんね。 こんなメンバーですらない連中なんか束でかかってきても負ける気しないでしょ。
Kamada clapped his hands with glee. Tomita and Okamura nodded in agreement. They looked fired up already. Yeah, look at them. Damn it, I have to fight against them here?
そういえば圭一さんとレナさんの勝負は預かり勝負でございましたものね。少し外野が混じるとはいえ、ここで優勝決定戦をされるのも面白いですものね。もちろんここで負ければ、
Yeah,
僕たちと一緒に罰ゲームに加わってもらうことになるのです。
くっそー、なんかうまいことやられてる気分だが、レナはどうする？
レナは負けないよ。だってみんなレナがお持ち帰りするもん。圭一くんはどんな罰ゲーム服かな。みんなお持ち帰り。
She sure is motivated. I could see Kamada was ready to fight for the ticket to paradise at Angel Mort. My two underclassmen were also eager to have a chance to fight against the members of the club for the first time.
その勝負、この入江京介も混ぜていただきますよ。と
Oh, I guess we can't just change it here. Okay. That was Iria anyway.
よっしゃ、このメンツで決定しよう。ケイちゃんもレナも依存はないね。
ちゅ、依存も何も勝手に話をまとめやがって。
まあ面白くなった方がいいでしょ。
富田さんも岡村さんもやめておくなら今のうちでしたよ。分かってると思いますけど、負けたら大変なことになりますのよ。
それは覚悟のうちです。
僕たちも男なんです。いつかは戦いたかったんです。
They've seen the many horrifying punishments we had to suffer, and they still had the courage to join in. I had to admit it. They have potential. Kamada, the evil lord of Angel Mort, sneered at the two. Oh my god, look at him. He looks so out of place compared to everyone else. Because he looks like the most normal generic background anime character.
まさか K さんと再び戦えるとは思わなかったっすよ。今回は正々堂々正面からぶつからせていただきますよ。
よりによってエンジェルモートで亀田君と戦うことになるとはな。ある意味野球で戦うより手強い気がするぜ。
Coach Iria, the Count of Maids, laughed like he was afraid of nothing.
ここは大人の本気というものを見せてあげましょう。そして今日ここに入江京介のためだけのハーレムを実現させるのです。
みんな勝たせてあげないよ。
よし、俺も覚悟を決めたぜ。いつまでもぼやいていても仕方ねえ。見ろ、勝負は何でやる。
そう来なくっちゃね。みんな道を開けて。ウェイトレスの皆さん運んじゃってください。
In the kitchen, the real waitresses are standing by with many desserts on trays. It looks like the game is going to be either speed eating or a competitive eating contest.
店長、本当にいいんですか？
いいから運んじゃって。面白いことは何でも大歓迎だよ。せっかくのイベントでだしね、盛り上がらないと。
The waitress checked with their manager and started bringing in the desserts. The two of my underclassmen, Kamada, Coach, Rena, and I sat at the table together. A horrific amount of desserts was brought before us. I wanted to enjoy watching the cute waitresses placing desserts on the table, but right now I was in a fighting mood. I had no time for that. The audience surrounding our table seemed to have grown excited too. I bet it didn't even cross their minds that they would see a serious battle at Angel Mort today, but they didn't care, as long as it's fun to watch.
さーて、いいか、制限時間内にどれだけのデザートが食べられるかの勝負だよ。あらかじめ各メニューごとに重さは出してあるからね。 食べ終わった後に食べた総重量で勝負をつけよう。
When the words competitive eating came up, Kameda smiled evilly. Damn it, Kameda had an advantage.
委員長、僕たちはコンビですので2人で1人の扱いにしてください。
ああ、いいよ。いつもコンビだからね。特別に許可しよう。
Damn it, having two stomachs for one competitive eating contest was an absolute advantage too.
レナはどうだ？やっぱり女の子には胃袋勝負はきついんじゃないか？
そんなことないよ。かいいみんなをお持ち帰りできるならテーブルごとだって飲み込んじゃうよ。
It even swallowed the table. Oh my god, Rena. I underestimated her. Rena can overcome physical impossibilities once she goes into cute mode. She might even be able to eat food that's heavier than herself.
監督はどうですか？大食いは。
前原さん、そこにメイドもいて、それを手に入れるための条件が大食いなら、私に不可能の文字はありません。
I could see a black aura surrounding him, which I found very intimidating. The glint from the eyes that shone from behind his lenses were sharp enough to pierce an iron board. God damn it, he was in maid mode, which is equally as strong as Rena's cute mode. Shit, I was the only one without any advantages.
じゃあ準備はいいかな？
You don't have a special mode to go into, KG.
レディーゴー！
I wasn't ready emotionally, but Mion started the game without hesitation. Damn it, there was no turning back. I had to do this. There were many kinds of desserts before us. Some were easy to eat and some were not. So I had to get the desserts that's the easiest to eat before anybody got to it. What about the yogurt parfait? But of course, everybody seemed to be thinking the same thing. Everybody reached out for the same dessert as fast as they could. A white light flashed in front of our eyes and the parfait disappeared. My hands clashed with the others in midair.
みんな遅いよ。レナがお持ち帰っちゃった。はう。
Rena took the parfait. She was literally as fast as lightning. But I knew it. There was no way I can beat Rena in the opening move. Rena took the parfait like a frog catching a fly with its tongue and swallowed it in a single gulp. She did all that in seconds. She's usually gentle and calm, but she's a totally different person right now. Really, it's terrifying. I see. I now understand why people say women always have room for dessert. But in the special environment of Angel Mort, Kameda wasn't far behind Rena. He grabbed the fruit parfait and swallowed it as if drinking beer from a mug. It looked very dynamic. Oh boy.
無駄ですよ、ケイさん。エンジェルモードでの戦いで俺に勝てる可能性は 1% もないっす。まだまだ行くっすよ。
Tomida no Kameda looked at the extraordinary techniques that Rena and Kameda are displaying, but they seemed very calm. They knew their advantage. As long as they kept a steady pace, they could eat more and eat faster than anybody else because there were two of them. Rena and Kameda were eating very fast, but they might slow down in the middle. So this was going to be an unpredictable race. Son of a bitch, I won't lose this game. I shoved my dessert into my mouth and kept eating. I just kept eating. Oh, damn it, my mouth got extremely cold when I swallowed a ball of ice cream. How could the others do this so easily? There's an idea. I should melt it first. I could use some kind of heat to melt it first and then drink it down. Plus, it would also be easier for my stomach to take when it's not so cold. But how should I melt it? It would take too long to use body heat, and I didn't have any other source of heat with me.
すみません、ウェイトレスさん。注文をいいでしょうか。ホットコーヒーをお願いします。
Oh.
できれば器は鍋だと助かります。
A big pot of hot coffee?
監督。
甘いですよ、前原さん。熱で溶かすなんて私だって思いついていました。
No, damn it. It was one step ahead of me. I could order hot coffee too, but I'd still be one step behind him. I'd have to come up with something to melt my ice cream faster than hot coffee.
クールになれ、前原圭一。考えるんだ。考えろ！
This is the first time we get like whomever is speaking to have their portrait appear before us. In this case, it's Keiichi. Look at him. I mean, if you missed it, he got his portrait last chapter, but... Keiichi held his head, screamed that line, and bent his neck backwards. When he gets like this, he always speaks everything that's on his mind, and it's very fun to listen to. That's Rena! Oh, it's Rena talking! The text is pink! Oh my god! But I had to concentrate. I needed to win this game. I was going to keep eating as much as I can and take all the adorable girls home with me. I was having so much fun. I was so thrilled that I felt my heart was about to burst. I might have been acting totally uncute, but I didn't care, exactly because I was having so much fun. Mi-chan always comes up with such extraordinary games. Satoko loves to play pranks. And Rika is very sneaky, but it's impossible to hate her. And Keiichi is always so funny. I enjoy every day. I wish I could express how much I really do enjoy them better than saying how happy I am. Sometimes I feel anxious because I enjoy every day so much. There is as much misfortune and pain as there is happiness and pleasure in this world. And I know very well that they that they all come to you regardless of how hard you try. You'll have happy days regardless of how hard you try. You'll have unhappy days regardless of how hard you try. But that doesn't mean that you don't need to try hard. I can try to make my happy days even happier and last longer. In the same way, I can try to make my unhappy days happier and end faster. I struggle very hard to achieve that. That's why I'm going to enjoy the happy days I have now as much as I can. I must not take them for granted because they won't last forever. They won't. One day, all of a sudden, these happy days will come to an end, and I know it. That's why I was trying to enjoy the happiness I received today so that I wouldn't regret it, even if the world ended tomorrow. I noticed my hands stopped moving while I was thinking about these things. When spending time with my friends, I feel so happy that my heart might burst. I even love doing the punishments. They're fun for me. I have friends. I have a place where I fit in. I have time in which to be myself. I have a me that I love. I love everybody. I love Mi-chan and Satoko, Rika and Keiichi. I love everybody in my class and everybody in Okinomiya.
レナの手が止まったね。さすがにあのペースじゃ長続きしないかな。
チャンスだよ、岡村。今こそ竜軍山を抜かすんだ。
無駄エンジェルボートでこの俺に勝とうという時点で蜂蜜杏仁豆腐よりやばいぜ。
レナさんしっかりしてくださいまし。監督を勝たせたら承知しませんですことよ。
私は負けませんよ。飲めと言われれば太平洋だって飲み干してみせましょう。
どうしたレナ。見てろ、ここからいよいよ圭一様の逆転劇の始まりだぜ。なあみんな。
レナ、どうしましたですか？
I'd left the table.
ごめん。ちょっとお手洗い行ってくるね。
I was just so happy. I didn't care who won or lost this match. Of course, it's more fun when I go crazy to try and win. But I could never be happier than this. If I could seal this happiness in a piece of crystal and I'd carry it around with me in my pocket, I'd use it as a heat to ward off the cold on hard days. Ward off the cold of hard days that are certain to come to me. I know they will. You're not truly happy when you feel happiness. When you're bored with happy days and don't even realize that you're happy, that's when you've achieved true happiness. You only truly feel happiness when you're in a freezing cold environment. That's the only time your heart can feel the warmth of even a small happiness. On my way to the bathroom, I saw a waitress and a customer arguing at the register. The customer was a woman. The waitress was trying to explain that the lady needed a ticket to get a seat because the restaurant was holding an event today. But the lady, saying she didn't know, was still trying to get a seat. After a while, the store manager was called and started apologizing to the lady.
まったく。
Huh? Who the fuck is this?
チケットないなら入れないって表の見えるところにちゃんと張り紙しといてよ。
Who the fuck is this? And she gets a portrait. Whomst? Who is she? Who is this creature? New character revealed. Ugh. Why does the manga gamer art always look so fucking terrible?
たく客を何だと思ってんの？
The lady's eyes met mine. I guessed who it might be when I heard the voice, so I was prepared.
あら、レイナちゃんじゃない？こんなとこで会うなんて奇遇よね。
あ、どうもこんにちは。
Who is it?
こんなとこで会うなんて本当に奇遇ですよね。
It's not her mom, is it? I held out my hand for a high five. She gave me one.
聞いてよレイナちゃん。ひどいのよ。今日はチケットがないと入れないとか言うのよ。
そうみたいですね。
まあ仕方ないわね。ねえ、お店には入れなくてもお土産にケーキくらいは売ってくれるんでしょ？
ええ、それは問題ございません。さあさあ、どうぞこちらからどれでもお選びください。
The store manager gave her a fake smile and led her to their showcase.
私はこの可愛らしいのにしようかしらね。あの人はショートケーキみたいな地味なのが好きだったっけ？ねえレイナちゃん、あなたはどれがいい？
私ですか？いいのいいの？は
本当にこういうのに目がないわね。どれでも好きなの選んでいいわよ。
じゃあ、私もショートケーキでいいです。
あら、他にもこんなに可愛らしいケーキがたくさんあるのに。
なんだかとっても迷っちゃうけど、こういう時はショートケーキが一番美味しそうに見えるんです。
そう。じゃあショートケーキを2つとプチトリアノンを1つ。お持ち帰りでね。
She imitated the smile I usually made. I replied with the same big smile. Then I smelled the strong scent of her perfume and it made me sneeze.
あら風邪？
Irina's perfume and I never seem to get along. Who the fuck is Irina? And she calls her Reina instead of Rena, so we know she's an outsider. Like, as in, she's not close to Rena. Oh boy. The business card. Rina, height 168 centimeters, bust 89, waist 60, and hips 87. Hobbies. I'm interested in indoor gardening. I want to make tea with the herbs I grow. I always enjoy your funny and interesting stories. We should go out somewhere next time in private. Gentlemen's Club Blue Mermaid. Private manager Irina Mamiya. So she's one of them call girls. No, she's probably like a hostess or something. Huh. Interesting. Well, what an explosive chapter so far. It's been 2 episodes and we've had 2 major events. Both the water gun fight and the game at Angel Mort. But I think this is probably a good stopping point for today. So let's get ready to swap on over to the ending screen.